to say that I feel like it's incredibly patronizing for you to paint these questions this way, especially as a white man. I don't expect you to be able to understand what people of color are actually saying.
So, being a white man doesn't prevent me from being able to think, and doesn't prevent me from being able to have reasoned perspectives on things. I didn't give up my right to be able to have an intellectual conversation when I was born.
I know, but well, white men definitely feel like they're entitled to talk over me. They definitely feel like they're entitled to kind of minimalize my experiences, and they definitely feel like they are somehow exempt and so logical compared to women who are painted as emotional, right?
No one's minimalizing your experiences. No one's minimalizing your right to have an opinion. It's just a stupid opinion.
Having a baby used to be a straightforward proposition. You could have a boy or you could have a girl. But now there's a third option. It's called steep civilizational decline. A handful of parents across America are deliberately keeping their children's sex hidden and instead raising so-called theybies. The idea is that only the children themselves should be able to decide whether they are boys or girls, without any of that pesky biological reality getting in the way. It's all very confusing, like a lot of 2018 is. So, of course, we called in our interpreter of all things progressive, our liberal Sherpa, Kathy Aru, founding publisher of Catalina Magazine. She joins us tonight. So, Kathy, goes without saying you're for this, of course.
Yep.
But doesn't this mean if you're going to raise a they-be, how would you be able to change your child's diaper? Because the second you change the diaper, of course, you'd no longer be able to pretend that there was a question about whether this was a boy or a girl. You would know.
Well, it's not about pretending. The parent definitely knows the gender. It's about not necessarily labeling the baby. It's about allowing the baby to decide what gender that baby wants to be when that baby can decide, which is around 4 years old. So from 0 to 4, the baby will not be labeled. The labeling theory will not apply from 0 to 4 years old. The baby will be a they-be, neither a boy nor a girl. Whatever gender that baby chooses to be.
What other profound life decisions do we think people ought to be making at the age of 4? Are there any others?
Well,
whether to get a tattoo, whether to get married, enlisting in the military, voting, drinking vodka, smoking Marlboro Reds. Is there anything else that we think 4-year-olds are ready to decide?
This isn't actually a profound life decision. I mean, biologically, there's nothing really going on from 0 to 4 in that area that affects a person's life. Biologically, the experts say that boys and girls, all genders are alike. The boy's brain, the male brain, might be a little larger. The female's language might be a little bit more advanced.
Okay. No
maybe,
sexism on my show. Hold on. Whoa, slow down. No, here you're out there like
they say maybe
boys' brains are
true.
Larger. And I just want to say that kind of toxic masculinity has no place on this program.
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
But that's all they can think of.
The bottom line is... all they can think of, like, difference in brain size, difference in genitalia, difference in bone structure. Just minor things like just minor things like that. Not perhaps, like factually. So those are not minor things. Those are definitive things.
Minor.
So, like, why would you not tell your kids about that? At some point they're going to drop trow and look down and say, wait, we look different. And you're going to be like, no, you don't. You're exactly the same.
And
that's lying, isn't it?
That's when the child, they say, is around 4 years old. So around 0 to 4, we're not going to say to a little female, a girl, that you're a little princess, or boy, you're such a tiger. The labels are gone. You're not going to put that outside influence on a child. You're just going to be neutral. Everything's going to be neutral.
The outside influence of biological reality.
Not
so would
reality,
you do this with anything
perception.
else? But could we decide that we're not going to acknowledge temperature or weather or traffic? And you could just say, you know what? I don't think it's raining outside. Or you can decide whether it's raining outside. I mean, the weatherman says it is, that there's snow on the ground. Or the weather, you know what I mean? The weatherman says that it's 15 degrees out. But I'm going to... You know what I mean? Just kind of make up my own reality.
The parents who are really leading this movement.
We acknowledge biology and nature as real, right?
But the biology, the parents who came out with this, who came out in the New York Times and started this they-be awareness, this gender-neutral awareness for babies, basically said, why should people be so obsessed if your baby is going to be a boy or a girl? who cares about that area? It's actually a little human. We are bringing a little human into the world. Who cares about the genitalia? Who cares?
May I just suggest why? And this isn't just my opinion, but the opinion of every person who's ever lived going back, let's just say 10,000 years for the sake of neatness. Because men and women are completely different in key ways.
Babies?
Can we not say that anymore?
Babies are different. Babies aren't different. They're little human beings, and there's really not much of a difference between different genders. No. There is no difference. And men and women, we would say, are equal.
I'm trying to laugh so I don't cry. Kathy Aru, you can be equal but different, which they are.
So in the very rare case where a leftist uses evidence, logic, and empiricism, how do I combat statistics they propose?
Who is it and when has it happened ever?
Do you have any comments on the Nazi presence at your protest? The presence of Nazis and white supremacists assaulting people at your protest. Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I don't like Nazis.
I would go out to gay bars and I would just see how masculinity was so prized. If you're telling me that I'm femme, I was raised by beautiful, smart, intelligent, fierce women, are you saying that that's a bad thing, that I'm like them? The way that femme people are looked down upon in the community is 100% a symptom of misogyny. And I think it's us as a society, our deep fear of the power of women, and anyone who's displaying feminine traits, we're telling them that they're less than because in our deepest heart, we know that that makes them infinitely more powerful. People really informed me that I was gay before I really knew that I was gay, and I think the reason for that is because they were picking up on traits that they assumed to be feminine, and thus they assumed to make me gay. So I just remember being really young and being teased for having a high voice and teased for the way I walked, and it wasn't like they were saying it lovingly, it was loaded, it had teeth behind it. It was not something that you wanted to be. My first understanding of what it meant to be gay was also an attack and wielded at me. I got to go to Tisch to study acting and was just so excited to start my career as an actor. I remember going to an agent's office and they were like, you're really talented, you're really great, but you're too gay and you'll never work if you don't hide that part of yourself. And at the same time, I would be on dating apps and I would see a lot of no femmes and mask only. And so what that means is no femmes, no feminine people, and mask only, masculine only. If you were to say oh, I didn't even know that you were gay, I felt like so many people would take that as a compliment. And I was like, why is that a compliment? That must speak to, your self-hatred, that to be markedly gay is a bad thing.
So what is this all about? Do you guys know?
This is a protest against the zero tolerance policy of the Trump administration.
Oh, okay. Is it only about that, or is it against the U.S. Border Patrol and ICE?
It's the same thing.
I'm just wondering if ICE, we want to abolish ICE, is it a legal argument or a moral argument? Are they against the law?
A moral argument.
Okay. So
are you confused about morals? So people around me are also other human beings?
Sure.
Basic beliefs.
Sure.
Yeah.
And certain basic beliefs are, they're enshrined in our Constitution and our laws recognize them, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk Constitution and not laws, because our government is horribly corrupt at this point. And laws mean shit.
So what part of the Constitution are you guys actually pointing to that ICE is in violation of?
So I'm not pointing to the Constitution.
Well, you just did. You just said let's look to the Constitution. So I would like to.
Basic human rights to move in the world and be free people.
Sure.
And I also think we should drag in white supremacy and how power has been derived in this country.
Okay, that's
it continues to be derived in this country by pulling it away from people.
Okay, well, white supremacy is another issue. That's kind of different.
White supremacy is all over this. ICE is white supremacy incarnate.
Ooh.
Yes.
Is this new? Do you know ICE agents? Are they only white people?
the whole agency is wrong, morally wrong. This is stolen land, built on stolen labor.
That seems like a
stolen people.
big argument.
Yes,
and I'm wondering, what is ICE doing wrong?
So you can follow. See, I'm getting upset even that you exist. So for my own psychological sanity, I'm gonna.
You're upset that I exist, and
yes,
even though
so you
were just talking about basic human rights. Like I don't have a right to live.
Enraged. Be like, you grew up to this age and you don't know basic shit.
I'm just trying to find out answers. That's all.